And when you gather this toolkit, it's yours. It's like you've come to know this toolkit so well. You know where everything is. You know what it's used for. And when you need it, you have this like painter's palette to pull from, to not only create a beautiful sound with your voice, but create your signature sound, one that you can be confident in. Whether you've never felt confident in your voice or you once had confidence and you feel like you lost it, today's episode will reveal the secret to getting it back or finding it for the first time. Welcome to Reawaken Your Voice. Are you tired of pushing aside your desire to sing, only for it to resurface again and again? Hey, I'm Lainey, voice and creativity coach, singer and songwriter. If you're ready to rediscover the freedom of creative expression, free from judgment, doubt, comparison, and fear, then grab that notebook full of ideas. It's time to give voice to the songs in your heart. Let's sing. Hey friend, come join my email list and become a Reawaken Your Voice insider. I'll be rolling out some special offerings in the coming weeks, and as an insider, you'll get early bird access to these as well as some extra bonuses. So you don't want to miss out. Stay in the loop by joining the email list now. The link for that is in the description. Today we're talking confidence. I used to shake, like physically shake. My body would shake, my voice would shake whenever I got up in front of people to sing. Yes, there was a time when I totally lacked confidence in my voice. I knew I loved to sing, and I knew I had a gift, but I wasn't confident in it. So I would open my mouth to sing in front of people, and my heart would be pounding, my palms would get all sweaty, my breath would become really shallow, and as I went to sing, my voice would shake. The strength and the confidence wasn't there. What helped me steady my voice and really ground myself was gathering a toolkit of techniques and practices and skills, and then practicing applying it as I shared my voice. So we're going to talk about this in depth, but this initial growth of my confidence really came from acquiring skills and practicing using them. But from there, I felt like it ebbed and flowed. And there was a certain dependence or reliance on external circumstances. You know, if I won a competition or got praise from teachers or got some great feedback from audience members, then I would feel confident. Or maybe it would be the opposite, like a performance went really badly, and so I would lose my confidence. But as I developed myself as a person, yes, but also as I developed my artistry and my musicianship, that confidence came from a more internal place. So, for example, after acquiring this toolkit and practicing applying it over and over again, I went to audition for grad schools in opera performance. And I felt so confident in all my auditions. I felt so good about my voice and where it was and how I presented it and just my overall performance. I felt so good, so confident, and so proud of myself, to the point where when I didn't get into any of those programs, I celebrated. I celebrated because not only was I proud of myself for all the work that I had done and for presenting and showing my voice and all that it was capable of, I knew that not getting in meant I was just going to go for it in the real world and travel to Europe and sing in operas, which I did. To me, it meant this was the path that was meant to be. Go out there and share your voice and be out there in the world doing your thing. This is not the path for you. That one is. Or that is not the path for you. This one is. So it was confidence in my voice and confidence in my path. And that came from a much more internal place. But that wasn't the end of the story for me. I didn't just frolic off into the sunset and, feel confident in my voice going forward. There were times that showed up on my vocal journey where I totally lost that confidence. My confidence was shaken when I stepped away from opera and tried using my voice in new ways. So for me, that was the newness and vulnerability of writing and singing my own songs and using my voice in a more folksy way and not so much of an operatic way. It was all so new to me. And in many ways, it was like a returning home or a homecoming. But that's another story. I lost my confidence again when grief brought me to silence. I became somewhat of a cave dweller as a singer, and I was hiding my voice really to focus on healing my heart and kind of keeping it to myself. And that's what I needed. I needed my voice for myself in that time. And sometimes I needed my silence for myself in that time. But emerging from that silence, it was a process of regaining confidence, rebuilding my inner strength, as well as my vocal strength. And then there was a sense of losing my confidence when it had been a while since I sang last. And in some ways, this is where I am now, after taking some time away through the end of my pregnancy and in this postpartum phase. Taking some time away, you lose a little bit of that confidence. Like, oh, what if it's not there anymore, right? So at this stage, because I've been here before, so I know what to expect and how to approach it. In a time like this, when it's been a while, it's more of a mind game at this stage, because it's just a matter of dusting off the toolkit, pulling it back out, reacquainting yourself with it. But there's also this process of tossing out what doesn't feel aligned anymore. And, perhaps that creates some space. Or maybe it feels like a void where something new will go. But then here we are back at that newness, that sense of everything feeling new, so you're not confident in it. And here's the thing, with that cycle, there will always be room to grow your confidence because you are growing and you are evolving. So when you lack confidence or lose your confidence, I've found that it's usually one of three things. One, it's trying something new. Or two, there is some negative feedback, maybe a poor performance, or maybe you can look at it as a past experience with your voice, or something that kind of shut you down in life and you're not feeling like yourself as much. Or three, it's been a while. And so you're kind of brushing off the dust and finding your confidence again. So whichever of these three it is, and there's variance there. It can be many things. But whatever it is, growing your confidence and finding it again, I've found that it always comes back to this. The secret to growing your confidence or finding it again is acquiring a singer's toolkit and practicing applying that toolkit in practice and in performance as you share your voice. When you've practiced applying the tools that you've worked on gathering and refining, you can trust your voice and trust yourself to be in control of your voice so that it will consistently do what you intend for it to do. So first of all, what is a singer's toolkit? I consider this to be a collection of skills, tools, techniques, knowledge, experience. You can think of it as a bouquet of flowers. This is what you can pull from in the moment to not only create a beautiful sound with your voice, but create your signature sound, one that you can be confident in. And when you gather this toolkit, it's yours. It's like you've come to know this toolkit so well. You know where everything is. You know what it's used for. And when you need it, you can simply pull from it without thinking and getting in your head. But it's almost more like an automatic muscle memory. You could also think of this like a medicine bag where you have your go-to balms for certain ailments, or maybe you sprinkle it with your special sauce, and when you want to add a flair of your individual artistry, you have this like painter's palette to pull from. So what is in this toolkit? What is included? So it begins with more technical, practical skills. But then as you move through acquiring those and moving through your vocal journey, you move into more intangible, emotional, spiritual, artistic elements of singing. So, some of these tools could include breath management, resonance throughout your vocal range and throughout the range of vowels, accuracy in pitch, consistency of tone quality, control of dynamic levels, caring for your instrument, like how to take care of it so that you sing in a healthy way and you can sing for years and years to come. And then we move into more of these maybe somewhat fluffier things like heart-opening techniques, healing dismantling the walls that you've built around your voice, having the ability to access emotions and express them freely. This is part of singing too. This is part of your toolkit too. The expression, the creativity, vulnerability, resilience. There will be failures, but do you have the ability to get back up and sing again? I feel like vulnerability and resilience go hand in hand, because you have to develop a tough skin as a singer. But you can't let that tough skin become a wall or a barrier, because you also need this soft interior. That's the vulnerability, this softness to allow people to see beyond the surface, to see beyond that tough skin. You need to be able to let people in. Let them see your darkness, not just your light. Your pain, not just your joy. Your full spectrum of humanness. Also within this toolkit, you carry your musicianship. The musical skill set that you build, understanding the language of music, training your ear. And as you go to share your voice, you also need to add to your toolkit grounding practices. And you need creativity practices to get back in the flow when you kind of lose that spark. And you have to find what works for you. That's why this is your toolkit. You're gathering things that work for you and your voice and your heart. Now, these are some ideas to just get you thinking about what could be in your toolkit. What could you add to your bouquet? But what if you once had this beautiful, blossoming, luscious bouquet and you feel like it withered away? You had this toolkit, but you feel like you lost it or lost all confidence in what you had. Regaining your confidence is sometimes harder than acquiring it for the first time. There's a lot of negative self-talk, beating yourself up about falling away from singing or being out of practice. And this is where there's a need for some healing, some soul searching, some mindset work, reconnecting back to your inner voice and your heart and remembering why you sing in the first place. Coming back to a spirit of playfulness, exploration, creativity. But when you feel like you lost it, the key here is to focus on the second half of this secret that I've shared. And that is practicing applying the toolkit. Practicing. So maybe if you are acquiring that confidence for the first time, the focus needs to be on building this toolkit and then practicing applying it. And then if you are regaining your confidence, like you felt like you lost it and you want to get it back, it's a matter of revisiting that toolkit, dusting it off, shining it up, lubricating those gears, pulling out the things that are no longer aligned. And maybe you just want that space there, or maybe you want to fill it with something new that does feel aligned. And then as you become familiar with that toolkit once again, you practice applying it. The ability to pull from that toolkit in the moment as you go to sing, it all comes down to practice. Practicing. Just as it is with finding your voice, finding your confidence is a journey. So gather your toolkit, make it your own, and build your confidence from the inside out. Let it come from an internal place where it blossoms with you until you have expanded beyond where you ever could have imagined. And you're standing there, opening your voice, allowing yourself to be seen and heard. And you come from this grounded place in your heart, knowing that, yes, you have a gift. Yes, you have worked on honing that gift. And now you have the confidence to share that gift. Thanks for listening, friend. If this episode moved you or inspired you in some way, would you please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or share this episode with someone who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough? Until next time, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.